Welcome back to our 10 Minutes with Anthony. I'm your host, Jen Cherney, and here's your host, Anthony Eliopoulos.
Hi, Jan. Good to be here. We're here at Old Town Fitness here in Key West, our gym that we train at. Of course, Major Domo Frank Dunn is in there somewhere roaming around, but this is where we hang out. It's our old core gym. You'll be seeing our training videos from here and everything else. No AC. We really don't encourage you to bring your cell phone in, but I know they do that nowadays. But you know, just here, you just focus on your training, and it's a great place for me to get ready for my contest and everything because I just focus in there. It's a great vibe, unbelievable, and you'll see some of the videos from it.
Okay, so today we'll concentrate on some of your questions. Okay, so there was one comment on Anthony's video that we put together of him riding a bike. There was a little comment on him not wearing a helmet. So let's see what he's gonna say.
Yeah, the guy had mentioned something. He was like, "What? You're not wearing a helmet? How dangerous it is and everything." And I can't really argue with that. You know, it's no excuse. I do wear a helmet whenever I leave the island, which I guess is never nowadays. But, you know, 5 miles, like he said something about 5 miles an hour, you hit your head on the curb or something, it doesn't matter. Always wear a helmet. I mean, I should be wearing one. No excuse, but it just looked cooler in the scene. My hair flowing and, you know, and it's just the way it is. But, it's not how I normally do things. I normally do wear a helmet, so, you know.
Well, as Anthony says, you should be wearing your helmet. However, I do not wear mine anyways. So, another question. What is your mantra?
Yeah, somebody had asked me, actually, John Hines, the head honcho there at the Dirty Pig, new barbecue place, 320 Grinnell Street, I believe is the address. Big guy, big John Hines. And he had asked me, you know, when I get ready for a contest, do I have a mantra or, you know, what do I do to stay focused and everything? I really don't. The closest thing, I mean, years ago, I used to take a quote, and we even used to have it on a t-shirt I used to have. We used to call it Gang Greek. People that followed me or whatever, we used to call them Gang Greek, and I used to have a saying, and I got it from the AC/DC song, and it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll. And I used to say, if I was training somebody or something, and they said, "Hey man, my legs are jittery or I'm going to throw up or something," I say, "Hey man, it's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll." So I guess that's the closest thing I had to a mantra. As far as focus, I mean, I just, you know, you have a pretty good, when you competed as many times as I have, you have a pretty good idea of the type of guys you're going to be going against, and that's kind of my focus, is to not be embarrassed by, you know, present my art, not be embarrassed, be in shape. And it's kind of, I got to think from years ago from Frank Zane, he had said that, you know, whenever you start on one of these journeys, whether you're trying to lose a few pounds or you're getting ready to compete in a contest, it's kind of like swimming across a lake. And it's easy to, you know, you go out and put your toes in and you come back and you say, well, maybe tomorrow I'll start. Or, you know, you go a little bit further, maybe tomorrow I'll start. But once you get a certain distance where you're almost like halfway, it's just as easy to go all the way to the other end than it is to swim back. So that's kind of how it goes with me. You know, each day, you know, each week you start seeing improvements, and then as the day comes, you start looking forward to the next morning. You know, what's my weight going to be? Am I going to be a little tighter? That kind of thing, and that kind of gets me through the rest of the way. So,
Yeah, well, on the same subject, I would consider the same subject. Nowadays, like lots of people, they do like a yoga, they do meditations, they do all that kind of stuff, which to me, it's much easier than actually going to the gym and train hard. You know, what do you think? Is it just a kind of easier way out?
you mean it's yoga as your only form of fitness is what you're talking about?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think that's kind of gotten misconstrued a little bit, because I'm a big fan of yoga, okay, first and foremost. But yoga to me is a supplement. It's not, I don't want anything to do with yoga as far as building muscle or anything like that. To me, yoga is for me to stretch, to relax, kind of stretches my body out. So, because there is a certain part in competition bodybuilding where you have to look fluid and you have to, be flexible to be able to pose. And yoga has always helped me with that. But as far as these things like hot yoga, where they make you do push-ups in there and all that, I'm not interested in that. I mean, that's, there's nothing in my years, nothing's ever going to convince me that there's any replacement for good old-fashioned time under tension, heavy weight, whatever's heavy for your muscle. There's no kind of yoga, CrossFit, climbing ropes or anything that's ever going to replace just being under a bar, under the heavy weight.
I totally agree with that. The next question was actually CrossFit and P90X and all that kind of new stuff that people come up with, every year, something new and new, some miraculous thing that you can do and you're going to get in shape and all that kind of stuff.
Right. Yeah, and then you touched on it. People, I think, are always looking for an easier way or a better way. Like, why spend 6 months in the gym when 2 weeks I can do this P90X crap or whatever? I mean, and I know that sells. I mean, I see guys with these silly what they call it, TRX, the rope and everything. Years ago, I took a job in Jacksonville at a high-end gym, like a training studio, and all these people, high-end clients type thing, and you think that's where you go to make the kind of money. And they had all the ropes and the, looking at their stopwatch and all this crap. And I was in there, you got a bench press in here, you got a squat rack, and they kind of looked at me like I was crazy. But, it's just everybody wants this better way, and it's not. It's hard work, man. I mean, if it was so easy to look however you want to look, and then everybody would be doing it. I mean, I would be over there standing on a Super Ball, pushing down rubber tires or whatever the hell those TRX things are. But it's not, man. It's having to balance steel. You got to balance it. If you're going to do an exercise such as a bench press, you have to take the bar off the rack. You have to use your muscles to balance it, control it. You have to descend the weight and you have to ascend the weight, and nothing's going to invoke more muscle fibers than that. And and that's a part of the puzzle. The other puzzle is, how many calories are you expelling every day, and how many calories are you taking in, and getting your best bang for your buck to be able to repair that muscle. It's a whole process. It's not exciting. It's a grind. It's hard work, but for those that are into that kind of thing, that's where the carrot is, or whatever, that they're, the mythical carrot. But it's not, hey man, we're sweating. They used to have, you want to look like Richard Simmons, sweating to the oldies. They used to have that thing. I mean, that's nice and everything, but you could do the same thing just walking across the street to get your newspaper. Get about it. It's more interesting. Looking at the people. Go to the mall if you're going to do something silly like that. If you have a mall in your town, which we don't have one here, of course, but wherever you're at and you have a mall, you go to the mall and walk back and forth. Take a rest, sit and watch the people walk by. I don't want the socks with the Christmas trees on it. I always used to like to do that at the mall. Sit there and watch people hear them argue. No. I always use gray socks.
Kind of that everybody emphasizes, the core strength. So they do all these ridiculous exercises because it has to be core strength, I think that just by doing regular things we do in a gym, the core works all the time. Why would human body be designed to be weak at the core? You lift the bench, goes through your whole body. It strengthens your core. Every exercise in the gym strengthens your core. You don't have to do some stupid Pilates, some weird isolated exercises to strengthen your core, right? What do you think about that?
There's been years that I've competed in contests, and 2010 comes to if you ever look at my pictures from 2010, and I mean, I think you could reach out and grab my abs like that. They were so pronounced, and I don't think I did a single ab exercise the whole thing, because you're working. If you're doing something like a squat, lifting weights, your core has to engage. You can't. It's like if you like when people will talk about training their biceps or something from a different angle or different. It's the most silly thing. It's the silliest thing I've ever heard of. I mean, can you if I say, Jan, flex your arm, can you only flex part of it, or or does the whole thing flex? So everything is going to, that you have to balance something, and like for instance, just a good old-fashioned squat. Your stomach is going to keep everything safe. You'll get sore abs just from squatting alone, but I do think there is some ab training that's important, especially for me. And I've trained abs the last few years because I've tried to shrink my waist. And another thing I see, and we should probably do a whole nother video on that, is I'll see people take a weight in their hand and they're doing like these side bends or whatever. Why would you want to build your obliques? I mean, that's going to give you an appearance of a wider waist. The obliques are going to be there. They're a stabilizer. But when you get lean, they're going to show much better. The whole thing is making that waist smaller. And there's a lot of muscles beyond the abs that, by doing vacuums and certain exercises like that, you can tighten all that up and make everything smaller. You get lean and you're lifting weights, I promise you, your abs are going to stick out. They're going to be there. They have to be. They're not, they exist. They're there.
Yeah, I think back in the days that, we remember, there was, I remember Franco Colombo. He didn't do any ab exercises. And on the opposite side of the spectrum was Frank Zane, who was doing like thousands of ab exercises every day, and they both were ripped when they came to a competition, So either way, it's fine as long as you diet well before competition, right?
Plus, Colombo could take remember those rubber hot water bottles?
Mm-hmm.
And Colombo could blow one up and actually explode the water bottle. So
he was really strong.
He had quite this strong diaphragm. But yeah, I mean, it's getting lean, and it's not getting skinny. You have to have, the more muscle you have, the easier it is to get lean. And how that's going to look for you is genetic, I mean, not everybody's going to have big giant arms but you can be lean. That's one thing you can control. And, your abs are going to, they're going to come out. They're going to be pronounced. And, I mean, sit-ups and things like that, I mean, I think you do more harm than good with, and, I mean, I do ab exercises, and we'll do a training video sometime where I'll show you the ab exercises I do, but unless you're trying to win a sit-up contest or something for the 6th grade fitness fair, I mean, sit-ups, I mean, you're putting your hands behind your neck, and pushing your neck forward, and that's just not all.
Yeah, that's exactly what I had in mind. It's all these like skinny people doing like thousands of sit-ups, and that's it. That's their main form of exercise. They think they can drop the fat around the waist just by doing sit-ups.
Yeah, you just get skinnier. You just get skinnier, and the fat's all in the wrong places. I mean, it's, the more muscle you have, the more work your body has to do to pump the blood to the muscle, to, just for you to operate on a daily basis. And so, that's almost like a speeding up of metabolism, or one of these miracle fat burners themselves, I guess. So.
Yeah. Well, how's your preparation for the contest going?
I'm currently 18 weeks out. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think my arms are pretty good. I'm pretty happy with where I'm at. Starting at 16 weeks, if you follow me on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, that social media stuff, I'm going to lay it out every Saturday or so, along with our videos. I'm going to do weekly progress, and I'm going to say, okay, this is my weight, this is what I look like. I posted a picture yesterday, just an upper body picture, which doesn't mean anything because it doesn't show my back, it doesn't show my legs, it doesn't show, the backside, the whatever. That's all part of the game. They don't just judge your abs, they don't judge your arms. It's everything in conjunction. So 16. I'm still playing around trying to get a little, holding my size a little bit. I think my weight yesterday was like 209 and some change. I have to weigh in at 197. So, I mean, that, there's not a lot to go there as far as that goes. Just trying to keep the skin tight. But 16 weeks out, I'll start posting, okay, this is my picture here. This was my weight. This is what I look like. Bam, the next week, okay, this is what I changed, if anything. And I'll tell you what I'm eating, everything else. It's going to be a regular blueprint of how you would prepare for a contest. I'll tell you how much cardio I'm doing, all that. And I mean, do with it what you will, but it's going to be a ton of information, and you'll see it on Instagram. And then as I get in a little better shape, I think some of these will turn them into some training videos. Somebody have a question, well, how do you train abs? And I'll do my ab training or my leg training, whatever they want to see, we'll do the training video of it. So.
Okay, so you guys just, log on to YouTube and check us out next week as well. Okay.
Yeah, please, and subscribe to this channel, man. I mean, I hear a lot of people talk to me about watching the channel and stuff. Subscribe, man, because I might put extra stuff out there, and that's the way you're going to know. They have your email address, and it'll pop up. Bam, Anthony put a new video up, and that especially we might do a couple training videos during the week. To go along in conjunction. Twice I used that word, conjunction. The old conjunction junction. What's your function?
Nice word.
But yeah, so to go along with what I'm doing, and you see, and we'll do some posing stuff, and I'll just show you where I'm at. I mean, the proof will be in the pudding. I mean, you'll be able to see if I'm in shape or not, or if I'll be making a grand fool of myself in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the weekend of August 31st, 2019.
So until next week.
We'll see, and a big shout out to my friends in Jacksonville. All my old guys I grew up in the same neighborhood. They're watching the channel. Philip Crouch, Bobby Rollerson, you guys. Love you, and I'll see you soon.